Purdue had that winning feeling again in 1997. The year saw increased enrollment system-wide, innovations in the classroom and laboratories, another Big Ten basketball championship, and the first Boilermaker Bowl appearance in 13 years. For the fourth year in a row, enrollment at the West Lafayette campus increased. Bolstered by the second largest freshman class in history, students numbered 35,715. System-wide enrollment rose by about 500 to more than 64,000.
This is happening not because of lavish expenditures for marketing, but because of the excellence of our programs, the reputation of our alumni, the outstanding faculty, and the person-to-person contacts made by our professors, our deans, our students, and each of you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
International student enrollment at Purdue was nearly 3,300 and represented 120 different countries. A special office has been established to welcome and assist these students.
I like to think of the Office of International Students and Scholars as an office that not only is a bridge that brings students from abroad to Purdue, but also as a place that can be considered as somewhat of a home away from home.
Students are greeted each fall with an activities carnival, showcasing information about the multitude of student groups at Purdue. Student groups found that raising money can be fun. The Purdue chapter of Habitat for Humanity held a Pia Prof event. Engineering students found a new way to play with their food. An edible car contest featured unusual vehicles made entirely of edible items. Roadworthiness not required.
Still going!
Purdue hosted a spring conference of the American Society of Civil Engineers that featured concrete canoe races and a steel bridge building contest.
Uh-oh, now it's time to walk over to the fridge.
Purdue students have a history of giving back to the community. Through a course called Engineering Projects in Community Service, or EPICS, teams of students have been assisting several community service groups. One project built toys for disabled children at the Wabash Children's Center.
One of the most valuable things about focusing on community service for the projects is it provides a very immediate sense to the students that their engineering is going to make a difference in someone's life.
For the first time in its 40-year history, the Grand Prix go-kart race was red flagged 3 times because of major accidents. However, no one was hurt, and the 50-mile race was won by Joe Troyer, a junior agriculture major from Kokomo, Indiana. Race car driver Lynn St. James, the Grand Prix Grand Marshal, couldn't resist taking a few laps herself.
28-second lap. That is quick.
And her voice has desire.
The newest green space on campus, Academy Park, honors Purdue's greatest teachers by emulating Plato's Academy of Ancient Greece.
Come, take up the body.
The park was dedicated during a Gala Week ceremony.
We thought, therefore, that we would call it Academy Park after that first teaching institution and after what we now consider the academy, which is the teaching and learning enterprise that makes up a university.
The new food science building took shape, with completion scheduled for summer of 1998.
And it's coming out well from the green bananas.
Meanwhile, a food science pioneer at Purdue was honored. The Agricultural Research Building was renamed for Roy Whistler, the Hillenbrand Distinguished Professor of Biochemistry Emeritus.
This building was named after me, I suppose, because we've done a great deal of work in the field of agricultural chemistry, in the field of carbohydrate chemistry.
The Black Voices of Inspiration is one of the groups that will be housed in the new Black Cultural Center. Construction on the new facility was set to start in March 1998. A virtual reality tour is providing potential donors with a peek at what the finished facility will look like.
The entranceway, you walk through a keyhole design and then open up into the new Black Cultural Center facility. The new Black Cultural Center will provide an opportunity to have our various African artifacts and art pictures hung prominently. The auditorium is a space in which our performing arts ensembles will have an opportunity to rehearse and host small performances. The new Black Cultural Center is about 2 times the size of the current facility.
Work was nearly completed on the Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex, including the new course designed by golf legend Pete Dye. A turf grass research center will provide an academic component to the project, which includes a new irrigation system and a new clubhouse. Much of the work was performed by students.
A lot of the contouring and bulldozer and everything else is being done by the students. That's a great piece of ground to build a golf course because of the natural contours. And then the serenity and the ambience of this whole project is really superior to most country clubs or different type of park golf courses.
In order to make room for the new facility, the old starter house had to come down.
And after some more discussion then,
the man who has overseen university finances since 1973 announced he will retire after 39 years at Purdue. Fred Ford, Executive Vice President and Treasurer, will be replaced by Ken Burns, Vice President for Business Services and Assistant Treasurer.
well, year in and year out, the biggest challenge is the budget and developing the budget, and particularly in lean years where we had to go through budget cuts.
The Purdue Board of Trustees asked Stephen Beering to continue as president for 2 years beyond his scheduled retirement date. He agreed and will serve until June 30th, 2000. Purdue North Central Chancellor Dale Alspaugh was also asked to defer his retirement for 2 years.
Let us stand in silent gratitude as remember Julie.
September 12th will be remembered as one of the saddest days in Purdue history. Nathan Frank, a junior in the School of Liberal Arts from Syracuse, Indiana, fell to his death from a third-floor fraternity window. Later in the day, a plane crash at the Purdue airport took the lives of students Julie Swengel, a junior in aviation technology from Greenwood, Indiana, and Anthony Kincaid, a junior aviation technology major from Crown Point, Indiana, as well as their instructor, Jeremy Sanborn, a recent Purdue graduate and native of Prior Lake, Minnesota. A memorial service was held the following week.
We stand here this evening numbed by the tragedy and confused by the mystery of death. The weapons we bring against this great power, our own poor words, and the comfort we can offer one another seem woefully inadequate.
A modern piece of American history, the Names Project AIDS Memorial Quilt was on display in the Purdue Memorial Union ballrooms in November. Researchers at Purdue and DePuy Orthopedics of Warsaw, Indiana, may have found a new, improved treatment for knee injuries. Clinical trials are underway to test a material derived from pigs' intestines as a replacement for damaged tendons or ligaments.
We've sort of stumbled across this material that augments normal wound healing properties and we think fits very well into the discipline now referred to as tissue engineering.
Purdue is seeking state funding to continue and expand the successful ChemMobile program. This science outreach transports expensive scientific equipment to Indiana high school science classes.
7.7 millimeters.
So it's important to our state to have students who are knowledgeable in technology. And it is important to the students' future and to the economic future of Indiana.
Archaeology students spent the summer carefully uncovering the remains of a 2,000-year-old Native American village near Monticello, Indiana. The School of Veterinary Medicine opened a new animal behavior clinic for treating animals with behavior problems.
Behavior problems are the major cause for euthanasia, much more important than disease. And secondly, I think people can very well relate to behavior.
The Salty Dogs Jazz Band celebrated its 50th anniversary with a reunion concert. The group was organized as a college band in 1947.
Happy birthday to you.
This was just one of the ways Purdue's campus radio station, WBAA, celebrated its 75th anniversary.
Welcome to the 25th anniversary of the President's Council.
The President's Council celebrated its 25th anniversary. The organization honors Purdue friends and alumni who give at least $1,000 per year.
It is a great pleasure to welcome you to this 25th anniversary celebration of our President's Council, an organization unmatched in the United States of America.
Classmates were again reunited during Gala Week, featuring the annual class parade to the newly refurbished site of John Purdue's grave. Four alumni received citizenship awards at the Founders Day banquet for their volunteer and community work. Robert Johnson of Baldwin, New York, who was unable to attend, Philip Magner of Wabash, Indiana, Ruth Shively of West Lafayette, Indiana, and Sally Watlington of West Lafayette, Indiana. President Beering was again the featured speaker.
We are part of a university community that is at the very frontier of science and of knowledge, but one that cherishes its past and cares deeply about the future.
The Varsity Glee Club capped off the evening's festivities.
Make one great song, make one great song, when we join voices, hearts, and hands.
Name a 1997 Purdue Alumni Association Special Boilermaker Award winner.
With help from the great Carlini, the Alumni Association presented 3 special Boilermaker Awards for contributing to student life. Honored were Kelly Cox, Assistant Dean of Students, Dorsey Moss, Professor Emeritus of Building Construction and Contracting, and Tanya Foster, Academic Advisor in Intercollegiate Athletics. The Purdue Alumni Association continued its Autumn Tuesday Speaker Series. Liberal Arts Dean Margaret Rowe was one of 3 speakers.
Quality is a word that has always been an ordinary word for us in liberal arts. I mean, it's what we strive for in the way that we teach students. It's what we strive for in the way that we do research. It's what we strive for in the way that we fulfill our service responsibilities.
Thank you very much for giving of your time and your palates.
The Purdue Alumnus Magazine's 5th and final tailgate recipe contest forced a distinguished panel of judges to fine-tune their taste buds. Winners were honored at a football game.
Winning recipes are featured in the September-October issue of the Purdue Alumnus Magazine.
On football Saturdays, Alumni Association staff teamed with a local radio station to greet fans at a tent near Mackey Arena.
Go Boilers!
Go Boilers!
Fans at Ross-Ade Stadium were greeted by a pair of new additions. A Jumbotron screen enhanced the game day experience, and a new mascot, Rowdy, was a hit in his first season. Also new on the horizon was the addition of women's soccer as Purdue's 18th intercollegiate sport. Rob Clotty, who was hired as the first coach, says he hopes to get some players from Purdue's successful soccer club program.
I would hope that 5 or 6 of those young ladies ultimately will decide to stick with it and be on our first team in the fall of '98. I know that they'll provide us with some leadership.
Plans to upgrade Purdue's swimming facilities and renovate the recreational gymnasium, or COREC, were drawn up in 1997. The campaign to build a $23.5 million aquatic center next to the COREC will officially be launched in 1998. Athletic Director Morgan Burke says the Olympic-sized pool and diving well will double current indoor swimming capacity.
This is a major initiative for the university. It will benefit the entire university community, its students, its faculty, its staff, and obviously have a very important impact on the Boilermaker swimming teams.
Despite their outdated facility at Lambert Pool, the men's swim team placed 3rd in the Big Ten. Dan Ross was named Conference Coach of the Year. The baseball and softball teams had outstanding seasons as both qualified for the Big Ten playoffs. For Carol Bruggeman and the softball squad, it marked the first trip to postseason play. Gene Cady and the men's basketball team finished second in the Big Ten. In the NCAA tournament, the Boilermakers rallied to beat Rhode Island in the first round before falling to Kansas in the second round. Junior guard Chad Austin was named to the All-Big Ten team.
Shall be named Katie Court.
Cady started the 97-98 season on a high note, breaking Ward Piggy Lambert's record for most wins by a Purdue basketball coach. The new playing floor at Mackey Arena was named Katie Court in his honor.
Since it's Katie Court, does that mean we get more calls? I don't think so.
Big three-pointer, far side, good. Hugh Curry Figs answers with a three.
Purdue women's basketball stunned the experts by forcing a three-way tie for the Big Ten championship.
Now she'll try to drive on Vasey, 10-footer, good.
Conference Player of the Year Janan Rowland led the team. The Boilermakers upset Illinois before a sold-out crowd in Champaign on the final day of the regular season to earn a share of the title.
The Boilermakers have won a Big Ten co-championship, knocking off the Fighting Illini of Illinois, 80-75, and there is a mad scramble at midcourt. And who would have thought the Big Ten coaches picked this team to finish 8th in the Big Ten this year?
Big Ten Coach of the Year Nell Fortner led her team to the second round of the NCAA tourney. After the season, Fortner accepted the coaching job for the USA national team, which will eventually play in the 2000 Olympics in Australia. Fortner was replaced by her top assistant, Carolyn Peck.
One thing that I want you to always keep in your mind and in your hearts: see it, believe it, make it happen.
A new coach and a new offense brought excitement and victories to Purdue football in 1997. Joe Tiller inherited a team that on paper showed little promise, a 3-8 record the year before, and 17 players dismissed or dropped before the first game. After an opening game loss at Toledo, the Boilermakers upset Notre Dame before a delirious sold-out Ross-Ade Stadium crowd. Fans mobbed the field to celebrate. Purdue went on to finish 9-3. The 6 wins and 2 losses in the Big Ten were good enough for a second-place tie. The wildest game was a stunning come-from-behind rally against Michigan State to win 22-21. Senior wide receiver Brian Alford was named All-Big Ten and first-team All-American, while quarterback Billy Dicken also received All-Big Ten recognition. And Tiller was named Big Ten and National Coach of the Year as he helped Purdue capture the Shillelagh Trophy, the Cannon, the Old Oaken Bucket, and a Bowl Trophy in the same season.
We did it. What we need to come through. We came through, baby.
Tiller initiated a new team tradition to celebrate each victory. Fans found their own way to savor victory. In spite of the players' singing ability, Purdue was invited to play in the Builder Square Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. Thousands of Boilermaker fans made the trek to Texas. More than 1,100 traveled on the official Boilermaker Bowl Tour, sponsored by the Purdue Alumni Association. During the days leading up to the game, Purdue fans took in the sounds and sights of San Antonio, including the historic Missions, Alamo, and beautiful Riverwalk. Purdue fans prepared for the big game with a pep rally. Coach Tiller helped fire the fans up. Inside the Alamo Dome, the Boilermakers took care of business with a convincing 33-20 win over Oklahoma State. Dicken threw for more than 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns, including a long strike to Chris Daniels.
Unbelievable, you know. It's just been an exciting ride, and I'm sorry to
see it come to a close. But, you know, we've waited 5 years for something like this to happen to us. That's the senior side.
Purdue's defense also came up big. In fact, safety Adrian Beasley intercepted 2 Cowboy passes.
I think our defense kind of epitomized the season because, you know, we've been a very opportunistic defense. We've created turnovers all year long, and tonight we did it once again. You know, what I'll remember most about this season certainly is the way that our team competed each week out and continued to compete here in the postseason.
We are Purdue! We are!
We are in San Antonio for the Alamo Bowl. I hope you've enjoyed viewing this Alumni Association video, a history of Purdue this past year. Remember, your association membership helps keep Purdue in the forefront of today's education. Hail Purdue!